Hey guys, welcome back. So my mom and I went out and cleaned the church today. It didn't take us long. It probably took us like a half an hour. Um, and then we went to the thrift store next door. Not the nine, so not the Harvest Hills thrift store, but there's one by the church my mom and I clean. But I got two interesting books. I actually am reading, but they're both in a collection, but I think I have all of them. But these are basically two books. They're very thick, but the book series is called the Deltora Quest. And the author is Emily Rhoda. Um, it is definitely so these are fictional books. These are not nonfiction. So this is all fantasy based stuff on creativity, meaning that obviously when I think of fiction, I think of something make believe, something that is not real. Um, but I will say, um, the first book. So if you do get, so this is the hardcover, because the thing is, I got these two books here, and they're full. I tried to wipe them down. They are kind of a little bit. They have a little bit of crud on them, but um, I did the best I could though. Um, but again, this is a really these are I'm really enjoying the first book, but there's actually a total of five. So yeah, the special edition goes through, because you can also get the separate books, but this is collection one and that is collection two. But the first book, if you get the special edition, you will be able to read all the way through. What is it? Um, there's four chapters in this book, and they're all broken down in mini chapters. So, like for example, the four chapters here are the Forests of Silence, the Lake of Tears, City of the Rats, and the Shifting Sands. But Forest of Silence starts on page one. Lake of Tears starts at page 139. The City of Rats starts at page 277. And the Shifting Sands starts at page 417. So this is a big book. Um, but I know I have all of the book. But yeah, there's two parts. There's two parts. Part one is called the Belt of deltora, which I did read all of. So actually, I'm at chapter 8, so we're just starting part 2, Under the Shadow. Um, I am enjoying this book I really enjoy it a lot. Um, but yeah, we're all already on chapter 8, and we're on part 2. What is it? Sting of the Wild. I did. I'm actually right at chapter 5. I'm 2 pages after chapter 5 starts. I'm reading about the insects, but I definitely wanted to get a book that was not so much nonfiction, where it's like fiction, because I one of my main goals throughout the summer, until my significant other gets back from her Ireland trip, I'm gonna be reading a lot, um, and of course, spending time with family and things like that. But I'm gonna be mainly reading, um, just to kind of like gather information of certain things. But this is actually a really good book or book collection. And then I have the next book collection, which is so you get book 5 through 8 in this big collection here, special edition, which the chapters are Dread Mountain, The Maze of the Beast, The Valley of the Lost, and the last book being Return to Dell. So these are all so these are basically the collections of the books in one big book. Um but I really enjoy this book series a lot. I literally today, just through today, I nailed out part 1. Part 1's already done with Deltor. What is it? Deltora quest. Deltora is a big kingdom, but I will tell you guys more about the book on here. What are if I would DNF the book, like if I would not judge for me, I'm a sucker for fantasy. Anything fantasy based. Even as a kid, I was really driven by fictional chapter books that were directly about like things like people going on quests, um, and things like that. But yeah. But the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I did get a figure today. Now, this is a figure, it is a dragon figure from the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie, but I think personally this is the only one I'm going to buy. I don't need to get the others. Like, I don't need to get the main dragons, because when I think of How to Train Your Dragon, I think of the ones who don't really have trainers. But this is a special dragon to me. It's one of my all-time favorite dragons within the whole How to Train Your Dragon universe. I would say it's probably my number 1. But it is the Skrill. Now, they did release a Skrill figure for the live-action movie, which I'm really glad they did. And I feel like back with the animated How to Train Your Dragon movie came along, there was many dragon figures that went along with those movies, but actually seeing this, it's definitely realistic to me, and it's very cool. It's unique. They do have other figures you can get, because you can just get the dragons without the trainers, but the Skrill is a really unique dragon in the sense that, unless going to the cartoons or animated movies or cartoons, maybe there was a trainer that rode a Skrill, but which I don't know, because but quite frankly, Skrills are one of the most unique dragons, and I feel like, they're in the same class as Toothless of the Night Fury. So they're definitely a unknown species of dragon that don't shoot fire, ice, or lava or anything. They conduct electricity, which is really cool. I would say this one, and then I also like Stoke, Hiccup's father. I like his dragon quite well, because that is also very unique. But Rumblehorn is the name, but he's like the cross between a rhino, a beetle, and definitely has like a hunched back like a grizzly bear. But he's very cool looking. And then they have 2 variants of Gronkle, Fish Legs Dragon. They have him in like this color, and then in like a green color. But the Skrill for me, and this was the only Skrill figure they had left at Walmart. These are $10 each. But I will say the little mini figures we got yesterday are really cool as well. So this is Rumblethorn. But I'm really glad those minifigures evolved and look actually better than they did within when they released one of the buckets for, what was it, the Hidden World. But yeah, they also have a couple How to Train Your Dragon game Switch games out. They have, what is it, Dawn of the Riders, and then Hidden World, which Hidden World you actually get to customize your character. I don't know if that, because you're playing mainly as a dragon, as Shadow, which I'm guessing Shadow is one of the offspring of Night Fury and White Fury. But he's more of like a half and half, like he shares their same, but I feel like he's like a hybrid in that way. But we're gonna let's get the Skrill out of his package. What I'm just gonna do is clip the plastic off. He doesn't have many of them, but let's. I know I left my scissors somewhere here. Yep, right here. But again, I really like this deltora Quest line of books. Let me know, those of you that are into fiction, let me know if there's any like really good fictional books out there that involve like dragons, monsters, maybe even like monster hunters. Alright, so oops. Don't. There we go. So I think we actually got it out of it. Come on. There we go. Alright. There is our really awesome looking. Oh, he's got like a dragon. So his jaws don't articulate. Oh, but the thing is, these are well detailed. So he does pose. And does he stand? Yes, he does. But can't forget about his tail, which we will snip out of the package. He doesn't come with any accessories, which is fun. He's a molded figure, but is able to articulate his wings, his tail, his feet. So he's got a lot of points of articulation. Oh, shit. Oh, come on. Shit, did I get it? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So let's slip the tail out. There we go. Alright, so let's clip the tail on our Skrill. It should just peg in. Boom. That it does. But there he is. Wow, he looks really good. I will say they captured this dragon pretty well. Yeah, his head can articulate. And then, that's right, I think he's got articulation in the wings too. You can have him like, oh shoot. There we go. How do I do this? So yeah, you can kind of make him like, his wings can go high like that. I feel like if we wanted to, but as I said, this is a really good scaled figure. Um, I almost got two of them, but I wanted to get them my all-time favorite. But the skrill, this is, as I said, it's hard. It's the same material. Obviously, they make the Jurassic World dinosaurs out of. But I will say that these live action dragons are just, I love them, and they have the little logo on the bottom as well. Um, but yeah, pretty cool. But no balancing. Let's see if we can like position him so he's like, I don't know if we can, but position. So yeah, he's gonna like take off. But he's very cool. I love this guy a lot for many reasons. As I said, it didn't take much effort to put his tail in, it just snaps in. Um but I love how they did his spines too. I will say this is probably one of actually my favorite dragon figure I've ever gotten, because I have like a, what is it, like an old school King Ghidorah figure that we can probably compare to this, but the King Ghidorah that I have is a lot like taller, and and the wings are more spread out. But as I said, I really like this dragon a lot. I did like the Stormfly as well. Um, but again, if I do end up getting anything else, it might be aiming for the. They have a collection set where it featured you actually get the main dragons. I don't think you get a trainer, but it's the dragon capture set. But you get all the main ones. But as I said, I really like this Skrill figure a lot. He's very unique, and he doesn't have, I mean, and they're pretty, I mean, as I said, they're very good at standing. But again, Spin Master made these figures, so definitely giving a lot of credit for the detail, the posability for these figures, because Spin Master, I feel like, does an exceptional job. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Jurassic World, that's right, those dinos are made by Hasbro, I think. Unless Spin Master got involved with them, but I know Spin Master makes the Bakugan, the but these dragon figures came out, I feel like, really awesome. But yeah. But since now we have a adult Skrill, we've got our two juvenile Skrill that we got from the bucket. I do want to repaint these as well. I think that would be kind of cool. Because like I mean, I don't have an issue with orange, but it would be cool if you could like get some like figure model paint and just like paint them. Because there's different paint you can use for different things, but they make paint specifically for like models or like figurines. Like as I said, you could definitely throw like some. I mean, they're that cool to actually maybe even be like a custom creature for like Dungeons and Dragons, or like if you want, if like say a figure. I mean, Dungeons and Dragon figures, as everybody knows, are not cheap. But I can't wait to continue um Deltora Quest, because I do remember the page we left on. Um, but we left on page 63. Yep. So page 66, actually no, 62. We left on page 62. But this I feel like is gonna, so we're already at part 2, cuz here, so we're not in, actually we are still in the Forests of Silence, because we don't get to the second big chapter until page 139. But as of now, we're still in the Forests of Silence. Um, but we're at part 2 at this point, Under the Shadow, chapter 8. Because the quest actually involves. So I'll tell you guys kind of like the book, but it talks about, so when you first read the book, you get introduced by these characters. So there's a character named Jared, Eden, and then later on, actually in the first chapter, you'll learn about that they kind of like, Jared had ran away, had gotten chased out of the kingdom by the king, and he wanted to know what it was like outside of the kingdom. Um, he wanted to know the truth of why he had to stay behind the kingdom gates and not be able to explore what is outside of the kingdom. So what happens is that Jared, because the thing is, king, when you live in a kingdom, the person usually, son, daughter, they're going to be either the prince or princess. And then once they show their loyalty, and then they go from the prince or princess role to queen and king. So it is a big, huge family arc of what is passed down to family. Like, what is a legacy? What is loyalty without a legacy? You know what I mean? Like, but in this book, the book really is about a king, a young king, um, who is a so he's actually the best friend of this young man. But the king is young. He's not an old king. He's young. Um, and what is it? There's a maid in the book too, which I'm pretty sure early on in the book, that's who was talking to Jared, or talking not to Jared, but to, what is his name? Shoot, not Eden, Edon. I think it's Eden. Yeah, Eden is the young king, but the maid speaks to him, um, because Eden and Jared often would butt heads, because Jared wanted to explore what was outside of the kingdom, like what was like actually out there, knowing that his best friend was kind of lying to him. He didn't want him to go, he wanted to follow the rules of the kingdom, where Jared wanted a bit more freedom outside of the kingdom, knowing that there's a village, there's a town really. So Jared obviously def had, because the thing is, Eden was very strict on his rules.
What? You just said hi, Tom. You gonna feed Thor, Tom?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna put the hot dogs on now.
Okay. But yeah, but it talks about that that Eden and Jared often butted heads to the point. I mean, they're best friends. They had disagreements. They argued a lot, but Jared wanted to see what was outside of the walls, and that's exactly what he did. So he ends up doing that because the thing is, there's royal guards around this palace or kingdom. So Jared had to make his moves pretty quietly to sneak out, meaning that he couldn't draw any attention toward the guards. He couldn't even, like, obviously state to anybody that he was leaving. But he was able to go out and meet this older man, this elderly man. I'm trying to remember his name. What is it? Crane. It started with C. Crand or something like that. And then his granddaughter. It could have been his daughter too. I think it was his granddaughter though. Anna. But Anna and Jared are. I mean, Jared definitely. I feel like, when you read the first chapter, I feel like Jared's already getting, like, he has feelings for Anna. Like, he really thinks she's incredibly sweet, and I think she thinks the same. But that's the thing, is that it tells to they end up, so actually Jared and Anna do end up getting married. Um and they have a child together, but also at the same time, Eden also is married to a woman named hang on, I'm trying to Sharn is her name, Sharn. But Sharn is Eden's wife, and they also have a child together. Um, but it is definitely a really awesome book. But there is a artifact in the book. It's a belt, but the belt is like ancient down through time. Um, but it is never worn by any king. But there is crystals that are in the belt, but unfortunately the belt ends up snapping, and the gems in the belt are scattered on these different parts, like outside of the kingdom. So this is definitely a quest of getting the gems back and out of the hands of the Shadow Lord. So the Shadow Lord is the bad guy in the franchise. But it is a very interesting book. I would say it is definitely fantasy. It's definitely fictional. But I would recommend this for anybody who's into fantasy, that's into. I would say this kind of reminds me of like Zelda, like the era of like Zelda and stuff like that. Kind of. I would say like Warcraft, Zelda, Game of Thrones, like a lot of the movies and series, Harry Potter even. Um, but as I said, if you can get the different books, but if you get the special edition books, you actually can get them at a thrift store. It's well worth it because the special edition number 1 has all the books up to 4, broken down into 2 parts, and then the special edition number 2 has 5 through 8, which is broken up also in 2 parts, but has the books 5 through 8. And the author is Emily Rhoda. But I'm enjoying this a lot. But I am going to bookmark where we are because I've got to go feed Thor right now. But I'll come back on in a little bit.